This is Module 1.2.1, Introduction to Medical Technology Assessment Clients. There are many market forces in medical technology development. There's an emphasis on getting maximum return on investment in healthcare. There's also concern over rising healthcare costs. And new medical technology is a double-edged sword. It works better than the status quo, so that leads to more people potentially using it, but it also can be more expensive than the status quo, which means that costs are higher. And if more people are using it and costs are higher, then total expenditures can increase more than just higher utilization or higher costs would have increased expenditures. Also, as consumers become more informed, they're demanding more innovation. On top of all this, healthcare is a highly regulated marketplace, and it's regulated in a variety of ways. In addition to regulation on the types of devices or drugs that can be brought to market, there's regulations on how they can be sold, as well as in how they can be paid for. Because of all these different forces, it's important to understand where these forces are coming from and who is interested in medical technology development before beginning a medical technology assessment. So who cares about medical technology evaluation? Well, there's many potential stakeholders. Fortune 500 businesses may, venture capitalists or investors, manufacturers. These would be manufacturers of new drugs or devices. So that would be pharma or device companies, as well as healthcare providers, health insurers, the government, which would be government regulators like the FDA, or government payers like Medicare, as well as researchers, and ultimately consumers who are the future patients or ultimate end users of medical technology that care about new technology and evaluation of it. Let's discuss some of these clients in more detail. Businesses fund the development of new technology, so they're very interested in it. Many businesses also pay for some portion of their employees' health insurance through what's known as employer-sponsored insurance. At least this is true in the US. In this sense, not only do businesses fund new technology, but they also pay for it through higher premiums or changes in healthcare benefits. Manufacturers, like pharmaceutical companies, biotechnology companies, or medical device manufacturers, fund clinical trials and cost-effectiveness evaluations on top of paying for the research and development of new medical technology. So they're keenly interested in clinical trials or cost-effectiveness evaluations or medical technology assessment and how well it's performed, because it affects their bottom line. Providers, such as physicians, hospitals, nurses, and allied health professionals, are consumers of evaluations. They look to those medical technology assessments to see what the most cutting-edge, most effective, or potentially cost-effective new technologies out there. And they're the ones that use the technology, even though it's the patients that receive the technology. The physicians or hospitals are the ones buying and implanting devices or prescribing drugs. Some of the other clients I mentioned a few slides ago are insurers and health plans. These are also sometimes referred to as payers. There's both public and private insurers or payers, and they may use medical technology evaluation results to inform their decisions as to whether or not to reimburse a new technology. Insurers don't want to reimburse technologies that don't demonstrate better effectiveness, and they definitely don't want to reimburse a technology that's not only more expensive but less effective. Government researchers and consultants are the labor force that reviews and creates the science of technology assessment. So many researchers spend some time in government and Some of government employees go on to be researchers or consultants, and vice versa. So they're all potentially see health technology assessment from different perspectives, but they all approach it from a similar viewpoint in that they use it to make decisions, and whether they use it themselves or they produce the medical technology assessments for some of the other stakeholders, they're interested in producing the best possible technology assessments, and usually with the most cutting-edge techniques. Finally, consumers. They're the end users of medical technology and the ones that the medical technology assessments are ultimately performed for, even though consumers aren't necessarily the end users of the research itself. Because they're the end users of the medical technology, it's important to keep that in mind while performing any medical technology assessment. The decisions that are made from the medical technology assessment ultimately affect the consumers or patients who may or may not receive the technology because of the results of the technology assessment.